Get ready, cause it's about time for you to speak your mind. Super Secret Girls Club. Super Secret Girls Club. Super Secret Girls Club.
Hello.
Welcome back to our Wednesday regular broadcast.
Yes.
Super Secret Girls Club.
Super Secret Girls Club. I hope you guys love the intro. We love the intro.
We love the intro.
Every time it comes on, we're like awkwardly dancing, but
It
enjoying.
always puts us in the mood. The emoji.
Yes, race 12. Exactly. That's what we were like.
If you are here, let us know in the Twitch chat that you are indeed here so that we know about you. Say hi.
Hello.
If you're watching us on YouTube, do we still do this?
I'm
on
not
YouTube?
sure if we're simulcasting on YouTube.
If
we
we
might
are
be.
on YouTube by any chance and you are there with us, we won't be able to see your chat, so just come to the Twitch and let us know you're there. Thank you.
Hi Mia. Hi Katie. Hi Raish. I'm sorry. I
Raish.
butchered everybody's names yesterday on Twitch. I was like, this is just how it's gonna be, and I couldn't read,
Well,
and then
Thank
Twitch
God
went.
nobody knows because your stream
It was
wasn't
horrible.
working.
Exactly. It was like, this is perfect. I'm gonna continue fighting Pokemons. But
Yeah.
good morning, everyone. Good morning.
So today's topic, we're gonna talk about working with friends. But before we get started on that, Christmas is coming and with the New Year's. I did want to ask Navi if you have any New Year's resolutions
Oh
or
God.
anything you want to accomplish in 23. One thing.
A better dating life. I guess that'll be my 2023. No fuckboys.
No fuckboy.
Or not going back to any of the people I've dated past. I think that's my resolution. I'm not
that's
gonna
a good
go
one.
back to people that I have dated before
That's a
and
good
trying
one.
to conquer them. Like go for unattainable. But that'll be my resolution. But beside that, like I think workout is always the thing, but it's never happened, so I'm not gonna try it at all.
do
what
you
about
do you do Sober January?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, I don't drink that much to do sober January.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should do
Maybe
other
I-
kind of
Maybe
sober.
you should drink or do Sober January.
Do sober January, but not with alcohol, but with the other things.
Ah.
But I don't know. I think I'm already kind of weaning off of it. I always like the concept of sober January. I think it's good, but I don't partake that much. Maybe I should cut down on my work. Maybe. I don't know. That's not gonna happen.
More self-care.
More self-care. Yeah, I try to do that. What about you? Do you do sober January?
I do it with Chris,
Makes sense.
but I also don't feel like I really need it because
Yeah.
I don't really drink that much.
Yeah. It's
But
like social only.
I think it's a good trend that people started, especially after the debauchery of New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
which I'm really not looking forward to. I have a thing with New Year's Eve where like it's literally my least favorite day of the year.
But do you think that because there's a sober January, people go extra hard in December they wouldn't have otherwise?
I know some people that do.
Okay. They're like, fuck
I don't
it
know
all.
if it's for everyone, but
Yeah.
I definitely think there's some people who do that.
Yeah, no, makes total sense. But do you have any resolutions? Or do you have any planned for?
For resolutions.
Yeah, for next year?
Um,
Something that you plan to do?
I think my only resolution for next year is like regarding the bus,
Oh, fair enough.
where it's just like it needs to start making money.
Yeah, so I need to doing something. But
It needs to start doing something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
so everybody who's in the chat, we would love to hear what you guys' resolutions are, if you
Yes.
have any. But Brianna, yes, you can go definitely date Mickey. We can totally set you up. We can totally do that. Send us the information in the DMs and let's see how that happens. We'll
So
make
funny.
it work.
I did want to ask you one more thing.
Yeah.
How was the Matrix last week?
How was what?
You were stuck in the Matrix all of weekend?
Oh, it was great. So I have a VR. It's weird. I have a timeshare in VR. So I own half of that VR. And
Really?
yeah, so I will
That's so
get it
funny.
in March when this Apple one comes out, and he wants to get the Apple. So I will get everything. And on that VR, I love Beat Saber, and that Beat Saber has songs that have been downloaded online. So it was so much fun. Oh my God, I had it for the whole weekend, and I like lost hours. I by end
Yeah,
of
you did.
Saturday and Sunday, I had to put timer for myself that I couldn't be in there longer than half an hour, so I could do other stuff, which takes out like it defeats the purpose of VR, right? Like it was a matter of disconnecting with everything and just being in there, but I disconnected way too much, and then I realized I couldn't have like I actually don't know if I can own it 24 like full time. I think it's good to
It was
have a timeshare on
So
it.
funny. So Navi showed up at our place with this,
So much fun.
you know, like so many songs downloaded on her VR set.
So much.
And literally, we had so much fun. And then, like, suddenly it was midnight. We were like, what?
I was
It's
so
midnight?
confused. I was so confused when Corey was like, "Oh, I'm gonna head out." I looked at him. I was like, "What? When did I come?" Like I thought it was like 10 p.m. or
We
something.
were playing for like 4 hours straight.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
And then we like
And
had
then
it
we
charged.
watched, what was it?
Hitalia. We watched Hitalia while it was charging, and Hitalia was like 5-minute episode. So I think we only watched like 3 or 4 before like, okay, let's start playing again. Let's start doing this. But
Yeah.
no, VR is fun. It's good to disconnect. I do enjoy it. I think like during the winter and everything, just when so much is going on that you just want to disconnect from reality. So VR helps, and I can see why Ready Player One is a thing. Like
yeah.
why people will disconnect completely. I can totally see myself doing that if it's not gonna kill my eyes.
Yeah.
If it doesn't hurt my eyes, I think I could stay there for a really long time, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good.
Yeah. We're watching Cyberpunk
Oh,
right
yeah.
now, and there's also just like, it's a dystopia. So like, there's just like people in the city, like in the street, like, you know, like in fucking alleyways, like like very poor people.
Yeah.
Who just like have the VR set and they're just like
Just sitting there.
jerking off.
Oh my
because they're just
God.
like, watching porn 24/7.
Oh my god. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like there's Netflix and stuff on it, and I almost like maybe I should try it. I was like, no, I'm not. That's too much. I'm not gonna watch
yeah.
Netflix in the
Yeah.
VR. No, I'm gonna stick
Honestly,
with it.
it's a little weird. I tried it and it's like everybody's like so big.
Yeah.
Everybody's so tall.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
feel like
really?
you're like in Attack on Titan universe. Just like what's
Yeah.
happening?
I tried the like porn VR long time ago when it first came out. I think I was in New Hampshire. I had a
Yeah.
friend who had it, so I was like, oh, like let me see it. And I was like, no, it's fine. But that was like 6 years ago, and so I can only imagine what it is now, or if it's even improved. But I didn't have anything to go into it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun. It was fun being in Matrix. For a second, I was like, what? I watched Matrix movies? Like I didn't realize that. No, it was fun.
Speaking of VR games, we did want to. We wanted that to be part of our Friday stream,
Mm-hmm.
which we were planning to do. However,
There's a
there's a
blizzard coming.
chance that we are not going to stream at all. So I wanted to give you guys heads up that if you are anticipating Friday stream, it might not happen, or it might happen from one of our houses. It's not gonna happen from here because there's a blizzard coming to Indianapolis starting Thursday night.
Yep.
And it's supposed to be like
Bad.
-1.
Yeah, and it's also with ice. Like if it
Yes.
snows, it's not gonna be snow, it's gonna be
Yeah.
ice. So we don't wanna be driving in that ice, considering people are idiots. Like
Yeah.
Indiana forgets how to drive when it rains or snows.
Yeah.
It's like it happens every year. Every year, guys.
So yeah, we're gonna play that by the ear, and we'll keep everybody in the loop. But
Yeah.
for now, just know that maybe there will be a change in the schedule. Also, speaking of breaks, we will be on break next week. All of next week.
Finally.
The only time you will be able to catch us live is for the Chainsaw Man reaction on Tuesday at either 1 or noon. We'll see.
Can we talk about Chainsaw Man for quick? It's
Sure.
so good. I
Did
think
you
this is
watch the last
I
one?
did. I think this is the only anime that
What
I
do you
have
think
been
happened to
watching.
Aki?
I don't think he died. Spoiler alert. We don't know what's gonna happen to Aki. At this point, if he die, it'll be so sad.
I know, me too.
Like at this point, I think like I want to see him longer. I think somebody's gonna come save him.
I am attached to Aki. I can't.
It's so
deal.
cute. Like it makes no sense, but like yeah, dude, that show is insanely good. And it kind of went meta when he was talking when those two people who were training Aki or coaching him were like, "You seem like a manga character." I was like, "That's yeah." It's
Yeah,
just
that was funny.
it seems we're realistic enough that puts it off of like different trajectory from all the other animes. But it's so good. But yeah, next week we'll be off. Beside the Chainsaw Man reaction, which I will watch with them. It's so good.
Will you be there?
No. I can be.
Maybe.
Is it finale?
You should ask everybody.
I will ask everybody. I can be there. Let me text
Yeah,
them.
I love Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is so good. And people are telling me that this is like just the beginning, like it hasn't even really started.
Yeah.
Like for real.
That's what, yeah, because we were talking about reading manga, and somebody said like they love it and surprised that people are already liking it because it's slow. It's like, if this is slow, I don't know what's coming.
I think what I like most about it isn't really the story, but it's the character. Like I love Denji as a character, and like the fact that he's like
He just wants
not a
boobs.
human anymore, and it's kind of like, what is he? It's like really interesting to watch that.
Yeah.
And I love the art. I love the way it looks, every single frame.
Art's great.
And I don't care if they take 10 years before the next season comes out. If it's gonna look this good,
Keep it.
take your time.
Take your time. We will wait for it because it will be hype every time it comes around.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Okay, last few plugs. We will be live tomorrow for One Piece stream unless the snow just completely
Oh, how
tells us that we need to get the hell home.
Yeah, keep an update. We'll try to start early.
Yeah, but we wanna have that stream, so hopefully that happens. It won't happen next week at all because we will all be on a break. But this week, hopefully, yes. Cool. So, without further ado, we are gonna get right into the episode. Working with friends, pros and cons.
Ooh, the best thing ever.
So, first off, let's set the ground with how the hell we met each other and
Oh
what
my
is our
God.
history.
Such a long history.
So there's the breakdown. We're probably going to refer to this podcast every time someone asks us again.
Yes, just listen to this. This is
This
it.
is the answer moving forward.
This is the time mark.
So I say you go first because
I'll
you
go first.
have more of a history than me.
Yeah, so I'll go first, and I will just say briefly, before I went to a different college, and when I met Serge, Mickey, Pat at the same time, and they have known each other from college, along with
High school?
Nahid. High school, actually, yeah, high school and college. So the guys have known each other for a while, and I started watching Breaking Bad finale with them. At that point, we were just friends. We were like, we'll just watch Breaking Bad finale, and I moved home from college, so I just making new friends. I was like, sure, I love Breaking Bad. And then that went great, and then Game of Thrones came around, and I think Game of Thrones is really how we connected. It's like, okay, Game of Thrones, let's watch it together, and we decided to watch the second season, fourth episode together, and then Serge was like, can I just record you guys? Like, sure. He's like, I'll put it on YouTube. It's like, I don't know what that is, but sure, I don't have to do anything. I'm gonna be here to watch as a group anyway. And he was the one who edited it and put it up. And then after a couple episodes, it gained traction. And so we were like, okay, we're coming together to watch it anyway. We have busy lives, so it's a once a week that we get together as friends, becoming good friends, and we started playing games, and it started doing well. That's when Rana came. He brought Rana, and then we started, bonding and having fun. And I believe we did Game of Thrones, and we started doing Walking Dead. And I think Walking Dead is when Chris and you came. And
It was Chris at first,
Yeah.
only because he was just like doing stuff on Sunday. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
We were at that point we were close to getting married, but our relationship at that time was really weird because
Yeah.
we got married in a span of 7 months.
okay,
So we met, and then we were very casual,
yeah,
and then we had like a moment in our relationship where we're like, okay, I guess we're serious.
yeah.
And then from the first date to our wedding was 7 months.
So quick, so quick.
Yeah. But so at that time we were almost married at that point. I think I met you guys first for Rana's birthday.
I think so. Yeah,
At
Handlebar.
Handlebar.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
season premiere of Game of Thrones. I don't know what season, but it was also Ron's birthday.
It was around April because it was Rana's birthday. We did like outdoor activity, drinking, and then we went over to watch. It wasn't Game of Thrones at the time. It was The Walking Dead. That was the
okay.
first video I was ever on,
Oh, nice.
and I was fucking mortified. It's so
It's like
funny.
a Walking Dead.
It's so funny as I had no context, and it was like one of the
Oh, it was the
one of
fir-
the gorier
show
episodes.
too. Yeah.
And I was just like,
It was the Negan
yeah.
killing. Yeah, it was like
No,
Negan.
no. It wasn't Negan. It was I forgot her name, but this lady like got zombified, and then like her guts just started like spilling out
Oh my God,
slowly,
just
and I was just
gory.
like, God damn it!
You can watch that reaction. She's mortified in a corner, sitting, not saying a single word.
Yeah, and then that wasn't really like my jam because
Yeah.
I don't like gory shit. But as soon as and Chris was just doing that with
Yeah.
you guys, and then as soon as Game of Thrones came around,
You want
Game
to
of Thrones is actually part of the reasons why me and Chris actually got together. But yeah, I was like obsessed with Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my favorite show ever. So I got to go back after Walking Dead, and then that's when I actually like understood what this is about.
Yeah.
And that is actually fun.
And I think Game of Thrones is how we kind of became friends as well. And how I became friends with the whole group, I think, is because of Game of Thrones. Because you can theorize so much. And at that time, like, you were just new to city as well. And we were just becoming friends. And I think Game of Thrones was a common topic that we could, like, theorize and talk about. We both reading books.
Yes.
And then slowly got incorporated. And she was the quietest person. And we made her loud. And then so that's how we essentially just, I think Game of Thrones, we became friends. Yeah
Being loud is a survivor skill as
Yes,
the normies.
it is. If you're not loud, you will be spoken over.
Yes.
And there's so many times I have to tell Shelby sometimes, like she will say something nobody doesn't, like, Shelby, say that again.
Aw.
And it's like, say that again louder. it's like I'm not gonna say it for you, you need to say it louder.
Yeah.
And I think we will turn her.
Yeah.
She will be the loudest here very soon. I will
Yeah.
go there.
And
But-
there were other people here and there. We had Hannah and Pat.
Yeah.
And Ben and Maddie. There were some people even before my
Yeah,
time.
Cassie, Justin. Yeah, there was so many people who, like, it started with the friends,
Just
right? Like, it was
friends
just
hanging
essentially
out.
friends hanging out, and when friends hang out, friends come and go. And then we kind of did that for a few years until to the point where YouTube marketing, like, money doesn't make, the ads doesn't make a lot of money. When they started doing it, and then Surge has quit his job, and it's like, okay, Surge, we can pay you all of this that comes to you, which was barely nothing at all, but it was something. And then even before we started paying him, we were using that small amount of money to essentially just pay for our dinner when we were getting together once a week, because everybody was driving for
Pizza
everyone.
Sundays.
Yeah, pizza Sundays, which you can imagine
Yeah.
how much pizza is. So that's what it was. We were all just chipping in ourselves, like buying skits, stuff, whatever was needed.
Yeah.
It was really everybody's dedication. And I think by the time we set up Patreon, and I don't think Patreon was doing a lot, but then it started doing something to a point where
Yeah.
like, okay, now we need to really think about what does mean. Like, is this something people are actually gonna quit their job and become full-time? Like, is this actually gonna be a thing?
Yeah.
We started having that serious discussion, and that's when we kind of solidified who is, permanently on the couch kind of thing. Because at that point, it wasn't just friends watching nonchalantly, not doing anything, to a point where like we have a set place where set people are coming to watch set shows. And we had to schedule it because we needed to set it out. So like, okay, we need to. So it was Ketty and me like trying to figure out the scheduling part, and now it's all Ketty doing all the scheduling. So it was interesting dynamics coming to that end, because I still at that point wasn't thinking that YouTube will make any money. Like, I was still full time.
Yeah. And I also remember that we didn't even think that Patreon would be something that could be an option for us.
We'll do anything, yeah.
Because I remember in one of the unboxings, we literally got a $20 bill
Yeah.
from somebody, and we're like, if you guys want this every month, you should start a Patreon.
Yeah.
And we were like, huh?
Like, what is Patreon?
Will people actually like pay for this? This
Yeah.
is kind of weird. And it was also around the time we started doing Avatar reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And then people were kind of like
Loving
giving
the
us
Avatar.
these ideas that, like, if you guys just put like the whole unedited episode up there, like, we're just gonna like sync our copy. And we're like, huh?
That is a thing. Okay. Cool.
So we just set it up, and everything was very community inspired because you know all the ideas that we got from you guys, and here we are now, still doing it.
Yeah, I think it really, and it really, like, when we say we appreciate our community, like, I don't think we can really express with the words how much we appreciate the community, because it helped that we were open enough to listen to our community, and community was open enough to give us the ideas that we really pondered over. And with us having so many people, I think it helped that somebody will read that community comment and will say, like, we should do this, and then will be a huge fight, and then we're like, okay, we are doing this.
Yes.
Like, there was always a huge discussion.
Yes.
But
So, yeah,
so it helps a lot.
I guess around the time when we like started a Patreon and we realized that okay, there's money coming in, we can get more and more people involved. They can spend more and more time and leave
do
their
more
other
content.
jobs because they can get paid.
Yeah.
So that's when, you know, some of like the transition started from like we're just friends hanging out to we have a business.
We have a business,
we're
yeah.
still friends, but it's different.
It's different. Took us 7 years. I think about 8 years now. Yeah, I think like, we're gonna jump into the real topic of it is like working with friends, pros and cons. Just having that transition from like, yeah, we are hanging out as a friends, and now, oh shit, we have money coming in that we need to like figure out what to do with it, and then, oh, okay, we can't just be friends. Like, we can be friends, but there gotta be this extra layer of it's a business and we are responsible for some things, where we can't just be like, oh, we are hanging out, I will show up when I show up. Like, no, you're gonna show up at this time, and then go from there. And if people don't show up at that time, what does that mean? As a friends, can we say something?
Yeah.
So it was interesting.
Yeah. So I basically have like a list of situations that we've encountered that were difficult
Yeah.
and we were not prepared. So this podcast is more of like a guiding, hopefully, you know, you can learn from our experience if you ever end up in a situation like this, and you can better address these situations.
Yeah.
So, and then also at the end, we're going to have some tips on how you can get started with small budget or none at all to when you actually have resources, what you can do and what you should do based on our experience.
Yes. Oh, God.
And shout out to World's Famous, who is actually looking for small business advice.
Nice.
We've made multiple of these podcasts at this point. We are also, I can see Turkish in the chat and it's distracting me.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what language that was. They're doing it on purpose.
Anyway, multiple episodes before this one. So go to our YouTube channel, Normies Podcast, where you can watch the other ones.
Yes.
And there's a lot of small business advice, but let's get back into the friends and business.
Perfect.
So one of the situations where we had like a big pain point, I think, is
Mainly working with friends.
giving feedback
Yeah.
to a coworker versus criticizing someone as a person.
Yeah.
And how you divide those two in your head, whether you are giving the feedback or receiving it. That was a big problem at
I
first.
think we are just now kind of figuring that out. And yeah, and I think that was biggest thing when we had to start out, when we became like, okay, this is the business. Now we need to give a feedback to someone. How do we do that? I think just setting it up, how do we do it? Like, oh shit, okay, so we should have an annual feedback set up. Cool. We set up some kind of annual feedback, and that annual feedback became a thing where that was the only time feedback was given. Like, so there could be something happen like 8 months ago, and then the annual feedback time was the only time feedback given, and then
kind of backfired.
it backfired. It was like, I understand we have this mechanism of annual feedback, but that was like 8 months ago, right? And then things may have boiled over by then, but it came back in the evaluation. Then it started boiling over again. It was like, we already addressed it. Like, yeah, but you are giving the feedback for the whole year, and that's something that happened in the year, even though it was resolved. It was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think that every single person, including myself, have grown over the years.
For sure.
Whereas, you know, at first it would just be really touchy and people would take things personally and like really get offended or defensive. But now we all understand that when we give somebody feedback, then it's for their improvement because we care about them and we want them to do better, and also because we want the company to do better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's overall beneficial for everybody, even if, you know, receiving it may hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all mentally getting there, but it takes time.
It takes time. Yeah, I think one thing that I realized over the time, all of us had to work that. I think it was just something, it took us a while. We had a lot of fights over it, but we realized, like, after a while, you realize nobody has a malicious intent. It's just a matter of how it gets communicated. And so words, like be very careful of the words that are chosen. And this is something that I've been learning, like how I communicate something. So instead of being like, oh, you are messing up on this, just be like, this is something that can be improved, that we believe that are being improved, and just kind of doing a compliment sandwich. And I think, and that's thing personally, like I mean, nobody likes to hear bad criticism, even if how humble you can be, it does hurt at a certain level. So just think of the way you will want to get that feedback and use that. And that kind of helped me per se, and also from my previous consulting job, and trying to just making sure I don't rock the boat, but still give the information that I needed. So it's just been more like picking which words to be used and sticking with them and being very careful. Because words can hurt. Weirdly, sometimes some words hurt that you wouldn't even think about it. And then that's the other thing that I realized learning, there will be some words that will trigger somebody. And it happened, like I will be always observant of what word triggered, and then I will make sure to never use that word. Or just if there will be some specific word that somebody liked to use, and I will use that. Like collaboration. If like in my previous consulting job, like every time I said something, like we should do it this way, and they will always get mad. It was like, I just want to collaborate with you to make sure that we work together on doing all this. So like I will do it in the way that like if they said no, it's like, I thought we were collaborating here. You know, like as a compliment, instead of me saying that this is how you should do it, I was like, I think we should collaborate on this together, and this may work it better this way. And then whenever that came in front of a client, you couldn't be mad on it. Like, what, you're gonna be saying no? Like you're gonna say no to my collaboration idea? So it's the words. Just be very careful of the words for sure.
Definitely that. I would also say that if you are working with friends, it's important to make sure that you have like keep both of those environments separate. So if you're at work and you're having a conversation about work, even if it includes someone's bad performance, it stays at work.
Yep.
And I think if there's something especially challenging that needs to be communicated, it's really important that you go back to get a drink with this person that, you know, you just told them that they're bad at their job, but they're still your very good friend.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that they feel like they're still your friend. So yeah, just like make sure that relationship, your friendship, is taken care of and fostered. Because and I think that we still have problems with this.
Yeah.
Because we spend 8 hours every day or more with each other, and
we don't want to spend more time afterwards.
I mean, we do, but it's like
it doesn't happen as often.
It's easy to not do it.
Yeah.
Because like I'm gonna see them tomorrow anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, but that is like a bad habit that we all still have and struggle with. So we try to make sure that sometimes on a weekend we go and do something that's not work.
We should probably have like team lunches, where we're just like either bringing a lunch and eating it together. We still struggle with this. Like this is like easy said than done. There was so many times I was like, as soon as we walk out of this door, we are friends. But like if I had just gotten an evaluation, it was bad. Fuck that. I'm not gonna be like friends, but I'm not gonna say anything. But in my head, it's still like I'm not gonna go grab a drink. But sometimes you like, and there was a few times that I struggled with like. When I was a part-time, it was easier. But when I became full-time, it's like, okay, I'm hanging out with you guys. You guys are my colleagues. I needed to make sure I found other people to rant about work. Not necessarily about like rant about a person, right? Just overall about
Yeah.
work. And you don't want to, and I think it burned out really quickly. It happened in my previous job too. It's like if you are talking about your work when you're done with work with the same people, it kind of continues going on where it's like, okay, I know I left my job at 5 p.m., but I'm still talking about it and it's been 7 or 8 p.m. And now I only have a couple of hours to like do anything else to get out of my mind. So world famous, just going back to your like, I think burnout, it's a big deal. It's gonna happen. I think it's just one of those things. Not like you can do things to prevent it, but eventually it will catch up on you. And the best thing to do is like, if you are working with friends or just by yourself, have a restricted timeline when you are done with work. Like by that time, you're not gonna look at it. You're not gonna think about it. You're gonna be doing whatever you need to do else to go out of the space. If you're working from home, then go out like every hour. Like go outside, go to a gym, outside of gym. Don't do like just changing the environment. It's mandatory and helps a lot with it. It doesn't say that it will completely eradicate it. It will help delay that, and hopefully eventually will become a habit where like every 8 p.m. you'll cut it off. I have to like set up so many reminders for myself.
Maria's asking in the chat, how do you disassociate your friends from the normies or work? And that is difficult, and we still have problems with it. But one thing that we tried to set up was instead of a swear jar,
Oh, yeah.
we had a jar where people would submit like $1
If you start
every
bringing
time
work,
they
yeah.
bring up something work related outside of work. I don't know if
$1.
we're still doing it.
We're
I
not
don't know how
doing
much
it.
money we raised.
It was like $40 in it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like $40. We haven't done it, but I think it kind of did help
It
to
did.
us like not talk about it because every time there was like anybody brought it up was like $1.
That's $1.
Like send it to Cash App. So we had a Cash App that you will send it to, and you can imagine like $40. It happened 40 times. So like people eventually just stopped. And I think we've been better at it as well to tell each other like somebody brings up a work, I was like bring it up in therapy. Or bring it up in a leadership meeting, or bring it up here and just stop the communication because it will happen. It just eventually happen, and I think we just been better at telling each other we're not gonna talk about it. And I think Chris does a great job because me and Ketty will just start talking about it, and then Chris was like,
No.
"We'll say like no," like okay, good, we'll stop.
Yeah.
And it will stop immediately. It's like, yeah, it's not gonna be helpful. It also helps because sometimes if you are talking about work outside of the work and there's not everybody's present, you don't want to be making any kind of decision where nobody was involved.
Yeah.
And we have all been burned by that. Bless you.
It also creates an echo chamber if
It
you
does.
don't involve like a person that you have a grievance with in like you can vent sometimes, but if you do it all the time, then you're just kind of like creating your own narrative in your
Yeah.
head about this person, and it's also not fair.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been difficult dissociating like friends from the normies. For a while we were all taking vacations together. We were doing like everything 24/7. And I think we have all slowly kind of built our own friend circle outside of this friend circle. Not saying like we're dissociating as friends, but I think we have all kind of done a better job as like having somebody else to hang out with that's not just normies.
Yeah.
But we still hang out once in a while. But it helps to have multiple group circle.
Yeah. But I would also say that if you do sometimes need to vent about work, it's hard in our case because nobody can understand
Nobody
our job.
understands.
And it
Nobody.
kind of sounds like we're venting that we are watching too much TV.
Yeah,
And that's just not something people can relate to.
it's not, and it was hard. I remember like in my previous consulting, like there was nobody I could vent because nobody knew what I was doing. Like nobody understood my job, so I will vent like with my colleagues, and the colleagues will vent with me. But like we kept it like
kept a
an hour,
timer.
timer, like an hour, and that's it. So yeah, sometimes we kind of have to like. Sometimes I will like pick up the phone and call somebody like, "Can you imagine this happened?" And then that's it. Like we'll just do it really quick. We've been getting better. If you can
Yeah.
imagine, it's been 7 years. We're just not getting better, and a therapist helps.
So I'm gonna mention a positive now, since we
Yes.
talked about the negative.
Yes.
I think that one of the good things about working with friends is that you know, when you try to like foster the family atmosphere in a workplace, it's actually it just comes
Easier.
natural. It's very easy, and it's not like cringy corporate. We're a family. Like,
We're actually family.
we don't
Yeah.
need a Michael Scott walk around and tell us that we're family.
Yes, yeah, no, it does help. And then we, even though like working with friends, like friend and work ethic is two different things. So you learn somebody's work ethic that you never thought of before, but knowing that somebody as a friend could make some communication easier.
Yeah.
And like just some things it's just like, all right, cool, I can say this and you will take it and we can just like have an like argument or whatever, but then we're gonna be friends again. So it's just like either way we're still friends regardless. Like I think we are just dysfunctional family where we can say shit to a family, but you're not going anywhere. You're still here. Like we're still here, so I think that helps with us and like friends. Like you're not gonna go anywhere. Like not that I'm bullying you, but yeah, we can diss stuff on each other, but
Yeah.
you're still here to stay and we can still work it out because we mean well. Like we mean well for the company overall, and I think that's where it comes down to, like working as a friend. We all in together. So whatever bad or good comes, I think it helps to share with your friends, and then like yeah, we'll work it out, we'll work
Yeah.
it through, and go from there.
Yeah. I think another challenge is establishing hierarchy.
Yes.
That's
Oof.
something that, you know, takes a lot of time. We're still definitely not there, but in a way, it's bad because when there's not like one leader or, you know, like
Somebody.
one person,
Yeah.
that, you know, that sometimes there's too many cooks in the kitchen at the same time. It can be good because we hold each other accountable, and I think that we've actually accomplished to put in place a lot of very progressive policies,
Yes.
very good benefits for our employees that maybe if it was just one person
Wouldn't have happened.
wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that's definitely a pro. I think in the beginning I was afraid of having too many cooks in the kitchen. I think once we figured out how to facilitate our meetings and have more democracy, like if we argue on some things, like let's vote, let's just vote, whatever wins, and that's where we're gonna go back to it. That has helped a lot, and I think having multiple
Boo.
boo. It also just helps, like, okay, somebody can come up with something that we didn't know. So if you have a small business by yourself, the one thing I'll recommend is having some kind of advisory board. Committee, like some kind of it. You can that could be like somebody, your friend, that who you can bounce off ideas with, and just kind of discuss it with them. Like this is what I'm thinking of. Like then they're aware of it, and then they can give you maybe a viewpoint of something other than just your own. But
Yeah.
with the hierarchy,
I think I'm talking more about like
like setting up a leader, like having
like like if a decision needs to be made and it's kind of like 50-50,
Yeah.
or you know,
somebody needs to
with-
step in. I think that's been a struggle point. That's, I think, still something that we need to think about. It takes a while but hierarchy is definitely needed. And the one example that I always use, I'm so glad Surge is not here. So, like in Laos, to when there was a plane crash and there's a chaos.
Yeah.
And then somebody took charge. Jack took charge and like set the laws. Like you need that. You just need to. Always, you don't need a dictator. But I think we always looking for that one person.
You should watch the 100.
Maybe I should watch 100. You always need that one person to be like, all right, there might be multiple things happening, but there's somebody who's listening to all of it and saying, we're going to do this. Because either A, that's what the majority wants, and B, that's whatever the best way is. So like now we don't have 50-50, but sometimes we do, and then we need that tiebreaker. You need that person.
And I think
that's
that
Surge.
maybe one way to like help with like a rigidness of hierarchy is to make it more kind of like flexible, because we also have our own little like expertise
Departments as
little
well.
departments.
Yeah.
So then if a decision needs to be made about something that I'm responsible for, my word will have, or my opinion will
Means
have
more.
more of a value than somebody who's not really involved in that stuff. So, you know, it kind of balances out.
Yeah, I think that helps. I think that comes down to like trusting
Yes.
if what the person is saying, they are aware of it.
Yeah.
That also took us some time to get
Yeah.
to it, but I think nobody can do everything. So if somebody is responsible for doing something, trust them until they break your trust, and then replace them with somebody that you like to trust with. I'm
Replace
just
this
kidding.
person.
Replace this person because you need good people around you. Tiger Tracer 929. Thank you so much for subscribing.
Thank
And I'm so
you.
sorry if I butchered your username. But
We
thank
have a
you.
lot of first-time users as well who
Yes.
came in from YouTube
I
to
love
tell you that you
it.
look pretty today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I lost this, but I found it. It's gonna be on here till the holidays. But yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, so I guess one more pain point that can happen if you work with friends is money, obviously.
Yes.
That's a big one. We had, honestly, we only had to really discuss money in a very combative way once.
Really?
And it was barely combative.
When came up with the percentages?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think
Because that was kind of like, okay, we really have to talk about this. We have to decide how we are splitting this baby that we've all created.
Yeah, we all put our
And
voluntary time in.
Obviously, everybody feels entitled to a certain amount, and everybody's expectation coming into that meeting was different.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually really impressed and
How we
happy
handled
that
it.
we kind of, our expectations were all reasonable and kind of aligned with what ended up happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think that wasn't really just on money. Like we didn't have a dollar amount to fight over, but more of a percentage on the company to fight over. Yeah, money is something you definitely need to talk about. And especially if you're working more than one person. I had this conversation with somebody else, setting up the expectation early on, because the longer you hold off on it, more problematic it will get. Because not because you will make more, hopefully you do make more. The idea is like you want to set the expectation on like if me and Katie are going into business and I expect her to be 50% in it, and then she's not pulling her weight, we then never set the expectation, and then later on I'm just gonna get annoyed and be like, you never pulled your weight, blah blah blah, and like she's like, so that's kind of expectation you just set up beforehand, so I know what to expect from her and vice versa. Right? Like, so if she doesn't have enough time to put into it, I can't just be like, you're gonna be 50%. She doesn't have a time, and then she might be okay with just doing 30% of the work and receiving 30% of the profit. So you just need to be the expectation early on. It's not something you will do day one, but as soon as you kind of realize this might have a potential to be something, and you have somebody who's helping you out more than just yourself, you just want to have that discussion. But money is always a touchy point. And yeah, I think I've been very proud. We had a quarterly meeting this past week, and we kind of talked about financials, and was very proud how everybody handled it. And that's, I've been seeing it from last, like, everybody understands the numbers that I bring, which I'm grateful of. It's like, this is how it looks like. And I'm grateful that everybody kind of trusts me, is like what I'm showing, that nobody's pinpointing, which sometimes people will be like, where that's, and that's good to know, because I would not have looked at it like, yeah, why did we fluctuate from here and there, instead of me just pulling number, let me analyze it. But just talking about money, I think the more information you have is better. And
full transparency.
And track it from day one, because if you don't track it, trust me, when it comes to taxes, forget about it. You're not gonna have a month. You're not gonna have a time for yourself. It's awful.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my goal next week, so I don't have to deal with it.
I think
January
that's what
1st.
I'm gonna do next week too.
Yeah, like financials. Like, I used to love looking at financials, but now sometimes I'm like, I don't want to look at it because I don't like it.
Well, I've always hated it.
Yeah.
Now I hate it more.
Yeah, but like, I like looking at numbers and using numbers, so I think I just took over when we started getting any money for the company. And I think it was also just, I didn't know everybody's work ethic, and I just wasn't sure who else would be able to handle it. So I was like, I'm just gonna take this.
You know how people, like, when like they have difficulty reading sometimes they get like actually diagnosed with like dyslexia and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I have that with numbers.
Yeah?
Like I always, and I was like always really good at math, where I like understood what to do and how to like proceed with an equation.
Yeah.
And then I would just like flip a number in my head,
Oh my God, that changes everything.
and it like always come out wrong, and I'm like, it's like every time like my teacher would go through calculations, it would like be maybe like line 4,
Yeah.
where like made a mistake.
Oh my God, it
like,
affects everything else up.
So they were giving me more of a leeway. Where it's like, okay, so you know what to do. You just like flip the numbers. So yeah, but I'm just really bad with numbers. So that's why I'm like, I'm always intimidated when I have to go do like our budgets or our taxes. I'm just like, I don't want to do anything, any
No.
of this.
Oh my
Why?
God. That's, yeah. Yeah, numbers are interesting. I don't want to do it either, but somebody got to. Hopefully we get to a level where we can hire somebody else to do it, but
I would
we'll
do it, but I just know that I'm eventually going to make that mistake,
Yeah.
and it can cost a lot if I make that mistake. So I'm just staying away from it. I know
Oh.
my strengths and my weaknesses.
Oh, I've gone back. Like there'll be a few times like I've gone back
Yes,
because
dyscalculia, that's what it is.
yeah. Oh, is that what dyscalculia?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Why not dyslexia? Why can't you just say
Because
dyslexia?
dyslexia is with letters.
Oh, so it's specifically just with
Numbers.
letters. Oh,
Yeah,
I
dyscalculia is with numbers.
oh, I didn't. I just assumed dyslexia just means whatever's
I
written
have no
and you
problems
flipped it.
reading, writing. I think I'm really good at writing. But for some reason, if it's a number, I just flip it in my head.
God,
I
yeah.
don't know why.
Pat has dyslexia.
He does.
So, and I didn't realize that until like he was reading something. I was like, oh, wow, interesting. Like, this makes so much sense now, Pat. Like, thank you for letting me know. And that's been one thing we have learned each other, like, some things that you may not want to share and something you do. And I think that has helped us to learn, it's like, that's why you are the way you are. That's like, that makes so much sense and just takes a lot of patience. But yeah,
Yeah.
numbers.
So, we're going to share some tips of how you can avoid some of these hurdles or how you can overcome them faster.
Especially if you're working with big group of friends or
Yes.
people. Yeah.
Yes. So some of the things, and we kind of mentioned it, if you don't have any money whatsoever, if you have a very small budget, differentiate between what's happening at work and outside of work. Carve out time for work meetings and friend meetings, and then have boundaries for both of those. Don't let them bleed into each other.
So hard. So difficult, but it's needed.
Very hard, but it's free $99.
Yes.
Just have to keep it in your brain that
Yes.
that is what you need to do, and it will help your business with friends tremendously.
Or have a jar, you know? Have like
Have that jar.
Yeah, have a
yes.
Venmo. I was like, we're gonna have a shared Venmo. We send $1 in it if somebody's talk, and
Yeah.
then by end of the year, we're gonna have a big ass dinner or something.
Mm-hmm.
We never use that money. We need to. I don't know what we're gonna do with
What are we
40
gonna do
bucks.
with $40?
Drinks,
Get cookies.
get cookies, exactly. But the idea, you know the idea.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There are also multiple, there's fucking endless resources on the internet that are free that you can, read from other people. You can listen to podcasts like ours.
Yes.
Educate yourself, especially if you are preparing to have a hard conversation with your friend. Don't let it just happen spontaneously, or don't let it to happen at a time when it just kind of boil over and happens.
Oh yeah.
Have a
God.
set time and prepare for that time.
Yeah, it
Do
helps.
it before. Don't even try to prelude this. Just do it then.
Yeah.
Do it
And
then.
it helps with not only you preparing yourself, but also the person coming into the meeting, they're prepared to have the discussion at that time. Just going back to free resources, there's so much free stuff on the internet. To track your expenses, you can find templates online. There's a free, if you have enough expenses, you can use an app called Wave Apps, and you use Mint. So there's a lot of free resources out there to track your stuff. There are checklists for small businesses that wherever state you live in, if you live in America, every state has a small business checklist. It's good to have that, to just click on it and then see what you would need to do. It may not apply everything to you, but it kind of helps set up what I should be thinking about. There are checklists for everything. I don't think there's one checklist for YouTube. We probably should create one. But there are a lot of resources.
That's a great
YouTube
idea.
is a great resource. So use those resources to the full extent before you pay for anything.
Yeah.
Eventually you may have to, but you can do so much without going to that
Yeah.
level.
And I think that eventually, if you are using a specific resource often, then it's good, once you can pay back to pay back.
Oh yeah.
Because somebody did spend an immense amount of time on creating those resources.
Oh yeah.
So like for example, we started using
Airtable.
no,
Slack.
sorry, Skillshare.
Skillshare.
Yeah. So, we would always like look for online tutorials that are free, and they work just fine. But now that we actually can,
Yeah.
I have this one person that I was trying to learn like some digital design from, and they have like free YouTube stuff, but they also have Skillshare.
Okay.
So I like subscribe to some of their classes on Skillshare just
Gotcha.
as a way to like
Oh,
give
nice.
back and thank this
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. And all these apps, I mean, there's stuff that you can buy within the apps to
Yes,
do extra
that is
stuff,
also
but
true.
that's just give you more freedom.
If you have more money and you can afford actual, help, outsource this, then therapy is the one thing you should do. If you have money for it, start it ASAP and go to regular group therapy sessions with your business friends.
Yes, it helps a lot.
The progress I think that we've made over the last year when we're actually going to therapy,
It's insane.
it's crazy.
It's crazy. I think we communicate better with everybody. Not that we actually were horrible communicators before.
Yes.
I think we could communicate like just when we are hanging out, but there will be always things that boil over that we didn't know how to communicate to everybody. Oh, the stream died. No. Is it like fully died?
Are we back? Let us know in the chat if we're back. I'm gonna check. Oh my god. What was that? Oh my god. Working with your friends. No, it's like we're live. We're there. Sorry.
I don't know what happened there.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, we're
hey.
talking about therapy. Definitely important.
Definitely important.
Helps us communication, which usually is the biggest pain point.
Yes.
Most of the negatives we were talking about are regarding to communication and how to express your grievances in a way that they're actually received and that the things positive changes happen.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is possible for the cheap version. Like if you have a friend who can be unbiased mediator, like I don't know if that would be something like if you do a monthly meeting with that person and talk to him, have a mediator. But we tried to do that. We didn't have a mediator. I think just somebody who, I don't know, who's maybe a therapist,
No,
does
I
a
don't
friend.
think you
I don't
can
know.
cut corners here. Like, as I know that is not gonna, you won't have money for group therapy, if you're just starting out. And I think at that point, when we were just starting, everybody's just so busy trying to make it successful
Yeah.
that you don't really have even time to consider that there's problems. There's
Yeah,
like
that's
gaps.
true. That's very true.
But eventually, when you do, if you have money for it, go to group therapy.
It helps. It
Yes.
helps a lot. It helps a lot. I wish we had
should
started
have-
it.
Yes.
Yeah, we should have started a long
Years
time
ago.
ago, years ago. And I think it was just a matter of nobody knew what to look until things boiled over. And Chris was like, I'm going to look for someone. And he did. It's like, thank you, Chris, because I don't know who would have like, we kept talking about it. We need to have this. We need to have this. Nobody did anything. But yeah, I wish we had started this like years ago. Just because, I don't know, it's a new territory that we didn't know what we are doing. So we just needed a little bit outside help.
Yeah.
That helped a lot.
And kind of along those lines, also, if you have the money for it, hire an external HR to deal with like serious conflict, serious conversations, or infractions. Don't do it yourself.
Yeah. And again, this only applies to if you are working with group of friends.
Yeah.
And then you don't want one of your friend to be an HR because it will kill their relationships
It's
with their
hard.
friends. It's hard. We've seen it happen. But having an outside HR, it does help. So it's something that we are moving toward. It hasn't started yet, but something that we are moving toward. So hoping that will eliminate that communication perspective. Like we're already doing great with communication with group therapy, but having an outside HR to give that evaluation, which we're trying to do more timely, will also hopefully help. So hoping that all of this, just in general, you know, try to create some kind of checklist and working with friends on how that will work, that it will help us grow our channel and hopefully it'll help you grow your business as well. If it's just you, just make sure you are taking out time for yourself. Don't work 24/7 because it's very easy to work 24/7, especially when you work where you live. It's very easy.
So, DJ Main DJ has a really good question.
Yeah.
Before we end the stream, how would you like to see the channel grow?
How would you like to see the channel grow?
I would love to see our work of passion to grow. So obviously we're passionate about reactions and we love, exploring our different stories with you guys. But we also want to try to branch out into other genres. We've dabbled with video essays and we are trying to focus on that a little bit more because we've consumed a lot of media over the last 6 years.
Yes.
So we think that maybe we have something to say. So we are trying to branch out into the video essay territory. We're really excited about it. We hope that will help us branch out into like other, I don't know, demographics online, I guess.
Yeah.
And also, I love doing Super Secret Girls Club.
Yes.
I appreciate all of you guys being here, and I'm really excited to see if we can get more listeners online or viewers and see where that goes.
Yeah. So we're just going to use 2022 and every year like as things that we can learn from. But few things that we have learned, like we don't really need to do all the shows, but there are some shows that do really well. So we need to balance our time, again, to put that time toward more creative initiatives that we've been wanting to do. I know our skits are cringy, but we want to do more skits because that's something that brings us happiness.
Yes.
So we are hoping to find more time, and not only that, just do creative things like drunk explanations, games that we want to go back to our roots. We just want to do it more grandeur, so it just takes more time, which we're like, we don't really need to do that. We need to go back to the way we were doing. So trying to find that balance. Yeah, more video essays, more topics, hopefully more guests on podcasts and stuff. So, and use our diversity within the channel to our benefit. We have people like all different cultures, and why is it not a lot of Indian people watching us? What's happening? We have so many Indian people here, so we need to figure out like how can we make sure we can use our diversity to our benefit and be able to have people from all over the world watch us.
I'm so glad that Angelic mentioned the Running From Your 30s skit, because it is like my absolute favorite skit we've ever made. I love that skit so much, and I'm so happy that you mentioned it.
And we are all 30 now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's so funny. We're like...
We're there. It's like...
Arrived. Well...
I know, not every time there's a birthday, I was like, Sure. We tried to do, like, celebrate it at work, and I was like, okay. Let's eat this cake.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I guess... Do you have any final words about friends and working with friends? Friendly workers. I do think like working with friends is not a bad thing. You just need to make sure you fully trust the people that you're gonna go into business, and that regardless goes like if that person you're going into business is now your friend from like 10 years, doesn't matter. You just need to make sure the person is trustworthy, because there will be a day when you will need to take a PTO and leave responsibility on that person. You don't want to be stressing out about it on your paid time off. So you want to make sure whoever that person is trustworthy enough, vice versa, because they will have to rely on you. Because there are some times it's like, oh, something didn't get published. We will text each other and I know somebody will take care of it. It's like, I know somebody will jump on it, that we have that trustworthy and dependability, and the next time I will jump on it if there's a time. So that helps a lot. So you just need to make sure you have someone. Teamwork is important. And if someone has gaps in teamwork who doesn't, volunteer as often, then people take notice, and it's just important that everybody is kind of participating.
Yeah, and address that early on. Like if you don't believe that teamwork is there, it doesn't hurt to let people go in early on, but you need to work on it. I think the one thing when we went to Forbes, a lot of people that talked about is like, yeah, you need to have that person you can depend on, have that teamwork, give them feedback timely as needed. But if things are not working, don't say like, oh, I've been with this person for 3 years. That's a lost cause because you have forever to think about. So you want to make sure you have a good team. Like we think we have a great team right now. Like everybody that we have hired, I can depend on everybody. Like I know I don't have to micromanage it, and I hate micromanaging. The minute I have to micromanage somebody, that's it. Like, I mean, it's not that we have let people go. Like,
So how
but
can I help you?
yeah. So how can I help you? Like to make sure this gets done. Let's do a velvet hammer. Let's do a compliment sandwich
Is
on
there
like,
anything I can provide?
yeah, like
that
this
will help you?
this needs to be done. Yeah, how can I make sure just yeah.
I
just-
love like corporate language translations. It's like what you say versus what it means.
I love it. It works all the time.
With regards,
Best regards.
best
A
regards,
best.
best. All mean so many different things.
Oh, per my last email.
For my last email.
I have used that so many times.
In
Not
the
in
attached screenshot, you can see that y'all fucked up.
You know what the funny thing is? I've used all those in my previous consulting because there were people that I work with that I absolutely hated. Not in my
Yeah.
team, just another vendor. And so many times that I had to like screenshots like, this is where we talk. And I will be this petty. And it will be pettiness going back and forth. We'll be
That's
like,
so
okay, we
funny.
need to stop. But it's like, no, like you are being petty on stupid thing. Like if I need to be troll, I will be a troll. Like I will get to that level. I don't want to get to that level. I will if it needs to be.
we're just butchering everything we just and becoming toxic immediately.
Good feedback. Good feedback. Give a proper before it derails to everything that we set bases on. But no, guys,
Our
like
face is melting.
I know, but I don't
Melting
have to do
away.
that with like normies. Like I think we have built a good relationship just with therapy and everything that we're like, we know what triggers somebody. Let's not go that way because I have to sit down and watch a TV with this person, and I don't want to be awkward silence.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen anymore. It used to happen a lot where we're like, shit, we just fought. All right. Hi. Today we're gonna watch this and then like forget that we have said anything. At what point does petty become toxic, or is that only for men?
I think petty's always toxic, but sometimes it's justified.
Yeah. I don't know. It I guess depends on who you ask if it's justified. But yeah, pettiness is just toxic, and I think it first. I will say like the first iteration of pettiness might not be, but if you respond again, like you've
Yeah.
gone too far.
Yeah.
You've gone too far. First pettiness or first passive aggressive mark can be brushed under a rug, but if you do it multiple times, then I'm like,
I
nah.
would say it's very hard for me not to be a smart ass sometimes. When like, if situation calls for it and something like really comes into my brain, I really have to like force myself not to say it. And sometimes it does come out,
Yeah.
and as soon as it comes out, I regret it.
Yeah. And I think there's been a few times we would just like look at her and was like, it's fair. Like, but it hurts. All right.
Yeah.
It's like we're watching a Ted Lasso episode where he like said something. It was like tough but fair. It's like okay. And I think it's just we have learned
But
we
fair.
learn like how Kenny communicates, and I think we just
That's
like
so
learn how
funny.
each other communicate.
All right, I am.
Oh, you're
going
gonna okay
to
because I was gonna do that. All right, guys. Again, next week we are off, so there's not gonna be any streams besides Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man will still stream next week, and tomorrow we have a One Piece, but we have a Blizzard coming, so keep tuned into our YouTube stories, our Instagram stories, where we post what's announcements that's for that day. But until then, we are gonna rate somebody. Who are we rating? Matthew Kihifi. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining, and we will see you guys next time. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Have fun. Be good people. Be kind.